One Leica, two rhinos. The little things add up. Remember that. It's been 4 years since I went back to the Leica M system and purchased this little guy here, the Leica M10D. And right out of the box, I took this camera to central Kenya to document the last two northern white rhinos. Since then, I've used the M system as my professional assignment camera. I've used it for all my editorial assignments. It's been my go-to street photography camera, and it's also the camera I use for all my personal projects. So 4 years, thousands and thousands of images later, I have some thoughts about the system, so let's get into it and let's talk photography. Okay, just quickly guys, I know that's not why you're here. You want to hear me talk about Leica stuff, fine, I'll get into that. I've got my Northern Vietnam Photography Workshop open for registration. I have 5 slots only. It's a very limited workshop, very intimate workshop taking place here in Hanoi and in Sapa. It's an amazing workshop, an awesome experience. You get to see Vietnam through my eyes and I help you capture it through your eyes. You can check all that out in the description box below. And if you're not into traveling so far away for a workshop, I also do have my 5-week online photography workshop / mentorship. It's open to all levels and all genres of photographers. Anyway, check all that out at justinmott.com. So I'm not trying to encourage you or discourage you from investing in an M system. It's very expensive. I also believe whatever works for you, and the M system works for me, and today I'm going to tell you why. So I own a Leica M10D, this guy here. This is a digital camera. What? Yes, it's a digital camera without a screen, and I know you're gonna have tons of questions like why? It's an $8,000 digital camera without a screen. Why would you possibly buy a camera that expensive without a screen? Wait till the end. I'll answer your questions there. I'll talk about the why, but first I want to talk about the M system in general. So everything I've talked about is related to the M system. In addition to using the M10D, I've also used the M10, and basically the M10D is a M10P without a screen, okay? Let me get that out of the way. So this camera has been with me to Kenya 3 times, it's been with me to Malaysia, it's been with me to Suriname, it's been with me to Thailand, all throughout Vietnam, Japan, the US. I kind of sound like one of those travel douches right now. I know, I get it. Actually, let me know in the comment section if I do sound like a douche. I've photographed armed rangers, I've photographed elephants, I've photographed rhinos, sloths, gibbons, street dogs, and a ton of street photography, and a bunch of assignments as well. But I'm gonna focus today on the first time, my virgin experience using this camera, which was documenting the last 2 northern white rhinos left in the world, doing a story about them in central Kenya. And I did this for a solid 2 weeks, every single day, sun up to sundown, even into the evening, and I immediately fell in love with this camera system. So since this was a personal project, I had time to slow down. That's exactly why I purchased this camera, because I reached a point in my life where I wanted to slow down. I'd spent about a decade working fast, shooting fast, working on deadline, doing all my assignment photography on the New York Times under their parameters, under their limited amount of time, and I wanted to slow down and get back to more long-form storytelling. So that's the initial thought on why I bought this camera and why I wanted to get back into the Leica M system. So remember I said those little things add up, and that's going to be a theme today. So I found myself slowing down. I found myself being more thoughtful with my compositions. I found myself pressing the shutter with more meaning. I wasn't just pop, 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 pop. I was more like wait, look, think, move, then shoot. And that's what I wanted to do, and I just hadn't had time to do that for many years. Each time I pressed the shutter, there was more meaning, more thought behind it, and guess what? I took better pictures. In fact, I took some of the best pictures I had taken in my entire career. In fact, I actually paid for this camera, and this is very rare. I'm not gonna say this is something that would normally happen to anyone. It's not something that would normally happen to me, but I paid for this camera actually with 1 picture. Leica licensed one of my images for a global ad campaign, and that was enough to pay for this camera and a lens. And that was nice and everything, but in addition to that, something more meaningful to me was the images that I took with this camera on that trip have been used by scientists, conservationists, all people involved in trying to help save the northern white rhino from extinction. They've used it over and over again. The story has been published in the Washington Post and Greenpeace, and I've donated all the images to these organizations. So again, the little things add up. A quick little tip I'm gonna sneak in here, quick little bonus tip. Shoot manual, you guys. Or at least learn how to shoot manual. I know aperture priority and shutter priority is great, but trust me, again, little things add up. So I'm not like you, I'm not like most people that are watching this. I shoot really long days. I mean, when I'm on assignment, I'm there all day long. When I'm doing a story about someone, a personal project, a passion project, I'm there as long as they'll allow me to be there. So these are very long days. I mean, this is my passion, so it's not work. I want to be there, but I also have to be there. I have to be there to capture these moments as they unfold. I have to be there to understand their story and to be able to tell their story accurately. So every day for those 2 weeks, I was there sun up to sundown. A lot of you might say, like, why? Why do you need to be there so long? Isn't that ridiculous? Well, no. Light changes. I see different compositions. Moments present themselves. I understand the story better. I might see an interesting place to do a portrait. All sorts of things change. The more that I'm there, the more opportunity there's going to be for me to get better pictures and, more importantly, tell a better story. I spent the days with the caretakers with the rhinos, and in the evenings I'd go on patrol with the armed rangers who were protecting the rhinos and the other wildlife while also risking their life from deadly poachers and even risking their life being out in the wild around wild rhinos, around wild elephants and lions and buffaloes and hippos. Hippos are actually surprisingly the most dangerous out of all those. You can check me on that, but it's true. I've just enjoyed having this camera around me. Like I said, around my neck, around my shoulder, on the table in front of me. And then you're gonna say, like, still, $8,000 just because the camera doesn't weigh you down mentally or physically? That's ridiculous. There's plenty of light cameras out there that won't weigh you down or just take less gear. Let me get back to what I said before. The little things add up. Not worrying about this camera stashed on the plane, not worrying about needing an extra bag to take this camera out with you for the day, not even worrying about a bag at all. I typically don't even use a bag with this camera. Not worrying about this camera and having to stash it on the ground because you're on a bumpy truck ride filled with a bunch of armed rangers. And instead of worrying about that camera, putting it in your bag, it's around your neck. When that opportunity comes up and the light hits that ranger perfectly on his face while you're on patrol. Or wanting to have this camera in your hand or around your neck after a long day. You've been up all night, you didn't sleep, and you're walking back for lunch, and you notice the rangers having a quick moment of prayer before they head out on patrol. And instead of reaching into your bag or making an excuse to not reach into your bag and turn your camera on and get the shot, it's there, it's in your hand, and you're ready. So you're not thinking about that other stuff. You're reacting and you're capturing that moment. Or you've been out on patrol all night with the rangers, you're about to head back for the night in your cozy, comfortable hotel room, and just as you're about to say goodbye, you look back over your shoulder, you notice the rangers have forgot about you being there, so they sat down, they put their gun by their side, they've got their phone out, they're talking to their family, and that light from the phone is illuminating their face, and they're messaging their family while they're out there risking their lives. Maybe those little moments there, your camera's already in your bag, or you gotta think about which lens to choose or which camera to take out. But this, I had this camera around my neck, ready to go, to capture that shot. Didn't have to think twice about it. You can get lighter cameras like the Fuji. You can get a film camera to slow you down. You can get other camera systems, Sony, a Canon, or Nikon, with better low light performance or a better sensor, or at least equal to at a much cheaper price. I totally get that. I understand that. But this camera, after 4 years, after dozens of stories, after thousands of images later, all those little things have added up. For me, they've added up. And this camera system has been worth every single penny I've paid for it. It's not for everyone, I get that, but it's been the right camera for me. Okay guys, I did promise you I'd tell you the bonus part about why did I choose this camera, why did I choose this particular model. Even for you Leica users out there, you still think this is an oddity or an odd choice to pick this camera, the M10D. So this is the M10P essentially without a screen. Why did I pick a camera without a screen? I understand, why not just tape it up, why not shoot film? A couple things. One, I don't shoot film because I don't like post-production. I'm not into that part of it. I come from a photojournalism background. I understand photojournalists used to shoot film, but that's not a big thing for me. I do very minimal work to my images in post-production. That's not where I enjoy to put my time and my creativity. I understand some people do, it's just not for me. Why not buy another camera? Why not buy an M10 or an M11 and just tape up the camera or turn the screen off? Also get that, but for me, I don't have the discipline to do that. I know that I would cheat, so I like being forced into good habits. I like having equipment that forces me into habits that I think make me a better photographer, and this is just work for me. I understand it's a very niche camera. I mean, totally is. It's been discontinued, so for the masses, it's definitely wrong. For only a few of us like me, it's been right. So that's it. That's the reason why I chose this camera. Again, not for everyone, it's just work for me. Alright guys, as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to have a wonderful day. Also, don't forget to check out my workshop. Don't forget to check out my online class. If you can't attend my workshop, check out my online store. I've got everything there for all of you interested. Also in my one-on-one learning, I've got a variety of packages to choose from. Anyone that wants to get better at photography, check all that out at justinmott.com.